Hi, Catherine. This is something that we are going to cover in class on Tuesday. Now, I know I told you that before, and I didn't quite get to it. I thought I would, but I didn't. And I'll go over this because the way they ask it's a little confusing, I think. They have you do the same shifts here and again here to illustrate a point. The well, let's just go over it. I think this will clear it up. What's going on is that both curves are shifting. Okay, we've always shifted so far in class, we've shifted each curve, only one curve, okay, at a time. Now we've got two happening. So let's read the question. Consider the market for pens. Suppose that increased medical concerns over lead pencils have led schools to steer away from pencil use in favor of pens. Okay, stop right there. We got a change. I guess we would classify that as a change in taste and preferences. We've got a problem with pencils. People are going to buy more pens. So the demand curve for pens will shift out to the right. And then let's keep going. Moreover, the price of plastic, an important input to pen production, has dropped considerably. Okay, plastic has dropped. So, an important input to pen production has fallen. So the supply curve, with the price of an input going down, will shift out to the right, or you could say it shifts down. So we grab that, shifts that out to the right. There we go. Now, let's observe something here. When demand shifts out by itself, we know that's going to increase quantity. When supply shifts out by itself, that's going to increase quantity. So both the demand shift and the supply shift increase quantity. However, it's, what happens to price is kind of ambiguous. It can't be really determined. Which curve shifts the furthest will determine what happens to price. Now, in this example, notice the price actually falls. And that's because supply shifts further than demand. Now, when demand shifts out to the right by itself, that increases the equilibrium price. When supply shifts to the right, that will decrease the equilibrium price. So we've got the demand shift, which would increase, the supply shift, which would decrease the equilibrium price, going on at the same time. So we've got opposite effects. So the supply curve, which way price goes depends on which curve shifts the most. And in this case, supply shifts the further out. You can see the supply curve is a bigger shift than the demand curve. Therefore, price goes the way the supply curve would have it go, that supply shift, and we see the net result here is this equilibrium here, and the price falls. Okay, now it wants us to make the same shifts again, except for this time, say we had demand shifting out to the right, we had supply shifting out to the right, but this time they structure it so that the demand shift is the bigger of the two shifts. So again, equilibrium quantity increases because supply shifting to the right and demand shifting to the right will both result in an equilibrium quantity increase. However, we've got opposite effects going. Demand shifting to the right will lead to a price increase. Supply shifting to the right will result in a equilibrium price decrease. And this time, the way they've got it is that the demand shift is the bigger of the two shifts. So we have demand shifting out further than supply. So equilibrium price ends up rising because the effects from the demand shift is bigger than the effect from the supply shift. Okay, from there, I think, let me know if I think that is probably the source of the confusion, because that's the thing that we haven't done yet, is shift both curves. I'll send that on to you and get back to me if you have any questions.